want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage for the first round of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying Series. This evening, we're excited to be bringing you coverage of all the action from iRacing's virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. Makoni Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Makoni Setup Shop C-Fix Series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Joining me in the booth for today's action is ARCA Menard Series racer Brayton Lester. Bradley Cooper working the controls, our producer for tonight's coverage of the top split for Race 2 of the 2024 RTP schedule. When it comes to Las Vegas, it's a track known for a lot of gambles and a lot of plays. But tonight, with 100 laps up on the board, things could get tricky. As for the second straight week, draft going to be critical here in Vegas.
Tricky, I think, is the right word to use. This track is very tricky, very difficult to navigate. You're going to be in the pack. As you see, you've got 20 degrees of banking and turns to carry these 650 horsepower trucks around, 12 degrees in the travel. You're pretty much gassed on the entire time. You have almost practically no brake and very little off throttle time. But managing your tires is the tricky part. Being able to have that little extra ounce of grip the next guy might be the difference between making it in the next round. And it's only race 2, but every point matters here.
Keep in mind when it comes to tonight, this oval, expect to see drivers go significantly quick in the midst of the draft. 100 laps, 150 miles the distance. Estimated fuel run, no save, 46 laps, with saving up to 49 to 50 laps if you're good at it. And remember, for those who have not seen the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying Series before, it's the first step to the road to $500,000. Blake Reynolds picked up the win. Believe it or not, it was his first ever eNASCAR win. I couldn't believe he had never won an eNASCAR, including in the qualifying series, until Daytona last week. Now, he's the points leader. After originally saying he was going to do it for fun, he's taking it for realsies and is back tonight.
Yeah, Daytona definitely pulling a surprise show. We saw that big wreck last week where almost the entire field, all but 3 or 4 trucks were involved. Tonight, anything can happen. We're going to have that same style of pack racing we talked about earlier. And a big wreck here 2 weeks in a row can really hurt drivers' chances.
Drivers are just about set to go racing here for tonight's action. It's our first mile and a half of the schedule. And it means 35 of the best ready to go. Your SOF for top split, once again, 7,609, around the same ballpark as Daytona. Lays Crawford, one-time C Open champion already. He starts up on the pole tonight. Alongside him is Daniel Buttafuoco from Rutgers. It's Alex McCall in the third spot tonight, known for his short track racing skills. He looks to make the road back to Coke. Max Brady alongside. Blake McCandless starts off with the top 5. He'll be alongside Nathan Nicholson. Then, in the 7th position tonight, it's Joseph looking to charge ahead in the blue machine. Then it's Michael Frisch in 8th. Brian Mercurio and Joel Blewett, your top 10, Brayton.
You got Christopher Preffer in the 25, rolling off 11th. Kevin King does outside in 12th. Brad Mahar in 13th, and Logan Clamp, highest iRating driver in top split, rolling off 14th. Matthew Morton going to be row behind him, 15th. And Sander Nyhoff in 16th. Connor Song 17th. Sean Inglis 18th. Jake Matheson 19th, who I believe not on the grid. And Larry Pace going to be on virtually outside 20th.
And for Matheson, technical issues will not make the start initially. Dominic Lewandowski amongst those making top split tonight after the shuffles of registrations. Daniel Smallwood alongside. Philip Groner for the first time makes top split as the last truck in. And then it's the Russian rocket, Evgeny Mozgov. The rest of the field, as follows, includes drivers like Jacob C. Snyder, Corey Hines alongside, Justin R. Smith, Quentin Warman, alongside Casey Tucker and Andrew Navarro. Of note, drivers towards the back who are in the 30.1s, the difference from the first 10 spots to the back of the field, 1/10, mind you. Andrew Freenosh, Kenny Brady alongside Jake Nichols for the first time at top split this season. Blake Reynolds, dead last in quali on time. Boyd Hogan, the only driver of the field not to set a time. With that being said, the drivers getting themselves ready here real quickly. Your keys to win 100 laps. How do you win?
No fast repairs. You got to keep it clean and you got to keep it green. Keep the tires under you and be there at the end. A long, long race and keep it calm.
Just about set to go racing from Vegas. Who's going to be able to roll the dice? Who's going to be able to build the best momentum from here on out? Green flag is out. We're underway from Sim City. So strong when it comes to the opening. Walker leads them through 3 and 4. Budafuco stays in the top line. Most of the field staying 2 by 2 outside of one driver in the mid-pack who got shuffled to the top line. Dominic Lemelski. Everybody else staying patient to start.
And that's kind of sliding right back in line there. Everyone knows side by side. Nothing too crazy as they go through 1 and 2. Crawford, though, still going through the block. I say out lead on the bottom. Budafuco to the bottom now, changing up, going into turn 3. Here comes Max Brady on that side to help out Crawford, though.
Shuffle continuing already. Crawford in turn, forced up to the top side. In turn to the bottom side, Budafuco. And Daniel Budafuco, one of those who looked very strong to start off the season. Well, before the big crash that took out just about the entire field with under 10 laps to go at Daytona. This week, see if he's able to play it a little bit differently. Make sure he's not in the crashes. That's a little bit of a viewpoint.
Yeah, he was going for the lead there at Daytona with less than 12, 13 laps to go and ended up being the last place finisher. Definitely hurt his points run. He's trying to get up in the Coke Series. So good win tonight would definitely propel him high up in the points, but he's got a long way to call himself out.
And in turn, with it being expected to be a major drafting track like tonight, how do you try and play things out? Because one of the big things with Las Vegas in open competition, you have to be ready for the lane change momentum swings, going from bottom preferred line to top preferred line to bottom preferred line again. How do you try and adapt to that to make sure you know what lap you need to be there at what time?
Yeah, Vegas is one of the more difficult, trickier drafting tracks. It's kind of like Atlanta, we gotta worry about tires, but there's not quite as much grip. You can't just go all out. You can definitely be, 60-70% throttle most of the time. And the leader can be all out, but tire wear, being in the draft over the course of this time, especially considering the track temps and the time of day, these tires are gonna heat up quick, especially the rear. So you're gonna see guys go in the corner and start to kind of lose more and more time and get a little bit loosey-goosey. Up front, that can cause a lot of trouble, a lot of stack up, but being in the right lane, it's kind of about being, strategic. You can gamble and try to kind of pick a lane, stick with it, but that I think is going to be a winning move. Is being able to know which lane to be in, kind of save your tires and make your way up to the field without causing too much turmoil.
Take a look from the heart of the pack for the time being. You see, this is currently, viewpoint of Michael Frisch, he was amongst those who was in contention as well. One of those with North Force Racing. We see usually them do very strong when it comes to the super speedways. But keep in mind, Michael P. Frisch has also really developed, especially in the past few years, as many will tell you. He can be very good on a mile and a half these days in the truck.
And that's just one thing about this track and intermediates. You got some guys that are specialists, you talked about Alex McCallum there, McCallum being a short track specialist, and he's up here at the front of the pack going for the lead. So some guys kind of prefer the short track, some guys kind of prefer the intermediates, and some guys kind of have fun. They're good wherever they go. And I think Daniel is one of the guys we've seen currently this pack. We're talking about Joseph. He's kind of been a guy that we've seen him, few far between, but he's always running pretty good. Same with Logan Clampett. So there's a lot of talent throughout this field. I think that's one thing that makes this entire field so hard to be good at, especially at a track like this, where it's not necessarily, the draft helps you out a lot, but there's also a ton of skill involved.
Still looking for the bumper, Budafuco. Blake McCandless, who has experience in the broadcast realm in eNASCAR, also is known for being a very solid driver of the platform. Coming off some Winter Series success in the past recent months. Now he's looking already towards the lead. He was also among the drivers in NFR's camp that looked solid last time out. And you could argue this start, despite the craziness last time out, is going near perfect for McCandless to begin a season compared to the season where he went all the way to contender by doing the opposite of the field's doing and still made it. As crazy as that may sound. Yes, I know. Doing something different can make you sure you advance. I know, right?
Well, if we're going to do something different, this is a track to do it. We're in the Sin City after all. If we're going to gamble, might as well gamble here. And this track, I feel like it's known for different strategies. Like you talked about, fuel about 46-ish laps. So far, we're still quite a bit ways from there. But these guys have been going absolutely 100% the last 10 laps. So these guys are definitely not really worried about saving a whole lot. But it makes you wonder. 46 laps, you might be able to squeeze it to 48, 49. You'll still be able to stay in the lead pack. That's not halfway. It's close. But are we going to see guys try to do something different?
Reason for the O is we just had some big blocks up front. McCandless did not want to let the run build up from Nathan Nicholson. He just about sheared the front nose off the 99 on track 30 in sim. And now he's going for the lead in turn. A push coming from behind.
Nicholson not really too worried about that. Going to use that momentum to carry them through 1 and 2. McCandless on the bottom. Try and make it stick. So far, those good tires are able to hold on the bottom. Kind of, pinching the corner off. Not too fond, but this early run shouldn't really affect them too much. Still side by side, though, going through 3 and 4.
Blake McCandless in turn, able to get the edge. Should be close at least to get his first lap of the day. And already about a quarter of the way through the fuel run. New race leader, Blake McCandless. That being said, there's been a lot of defensive driving up in front with this 2x2 racing. There are some trying to make their way to the field that are not having an easy time. Blake Reynolds is still in 34th place. As well of note, many of the drivers who start in the 20s are still in the 20s. It's hard to pass when it's 2x2 the whole field deep.
Yeah, this isn't really a track like Daytona, even though it drives like when you don't have room to make the outside work unless you get a ton of help. But just how tight and how close the whole field is, you're going to have a lot of people go up there and try and make some magic happen, and no one really feels comfortable this early with no faster pairs either. I feel like that's almost a risk versus reward thing that you can gain some spots, but I don't think it's worth it.
Now, the driver you see out of the pack, that's Jake Matheson. He did make it to the pit lane in time to not lose a lap for the start, but he is half a track behind the entire field. In our words for Jake Matheson, on the back foot now and needs a caution. As we look back up front, Budafuco back to the point.
That not able to quite control the lines. He still has McCandless on the bottom, but barely. I'd call that at their spoiler almost about a spotter. Finally going to be able to clear him though, going in the 3. Budafuco still letting him control the high side. He's got Alex McCallum behind him, and then also Blaze Crawford. Your pole sitter falling back to 5th, 3rd though on the outside. The outside seems a lot more put together, a lot more controlled. McCandless and company are, bumper to bumper, but they don't really have any help behind them. Joseph won't get to the back bumper of the second truck in line. That's Nathan Nicholson, unlike the outside.
Worth noting that we do have a few drivers that are finding ways up through the field. It's just they haven't made their way to the hornet's nest of the pack yet. Biggest mover in the early going is Boyd Hogan, up 5. Andrew Freenosh also up about 5 so far. And that's where there's a lot of drivers trying to get very aggressive towards the back. It's worth noting. Up front, it's currently still the 2x2. Back in the back, it's 3 wide because drivers like Freenosh are saying, I don't want to go backwards, I want to go frontwards.
I mean, you got to make it work. Do what you can. Freenosh there. Oh, we got one in the wall. That's Andrew Navarro on Freenosh's outside. It's barely clipped to kind of turn him a little goosey and should be able to keep going. But now these guys are going to start really burning their tires off. And this is not what I wanted to see and do as a driver. Burn my stuff up 3 wide, only 18 laps in this run. Still got 20 plus laps to go in a fuel run. So some guys, not really playing it smart. Justin Smith, no bomb 3 wide 2 back here for 27th. Corey Hines making his way up through the middle. Same with Kenny Brady up by the wall.
At this rate, a lot of these drivers might be thinking, maybe a caution, get the adjustment in, get the strategy in, try and short field the truck, try and get the adjustment I need to be able to go fast. You have to do that without being the caution, though. That's a critical thing, and way they're driving in the 20s is pretty wild, as you can tell from the onboards. But also, with the fact that you have drivers try to back up. That blue machine was Navarro with nowhere to go, nearly to the wall again.
Everybody on board, the 31 in sim, 6.6 low on the screen of Justin Smith. See him really working that high side. Kind of one of the few drivers making it work, though. Right from though, Kenny Brady going to lift. That's going to really hurt Smith into the wall. That was really close to disaster. Smith, though, now going to lose all of that time and spot he just made up and get pinched up here by himself.
Right now, the difference between first to 34th, 2.4 seconds. The reason we're keeping an eye on what's going on back here, especially is this is some of the most aggressive racing you'll see at Vegas. When people are desperate for points, especially when you're talking about 8 or 9 races to really get the points in, people will do desperate things like take it offset 3 wide and nearly turn the driver in front. That was near contact Sean English to the back bumper of Joel Blewett.
And one thing, too, to talk about, a lot of these guys, with this top split action, they have real-life spotters instead of the iRacing spotter. Justice Smith, just on board, got picked up in the wall. 2020 Coke Series Championship, Nick Ottinger in his year. So a lot of these guys have talented and, well-respected drivers and kind of able to coach them through. And sure, if anyone knows how to get through this field, it's Nick.
Yeah, and that's going to be very critical. That help throughout this entire season in terms of getting the data right, in terms of being able to talk things through, but also just having drivers, especially most drivers, mind you, have a crew chief that can help keep you calm in this kind of a situation, because you're talking about with Atlanta as well in the mix, 3 draft tracks in the first 3 races, and with there being usually the 1 drop, you can't afford a bad race in all 3.
No, not at all. And you don't really have anything special. If you're a road course specialist, but they're kind of out of luck. We don't have any turn righty action here in the first round. In the second round, you got Watkins Glen, but you got to make it that second round first. So there's a lot of unpredictability, and you can't really rely on good runs out those drafting tracks to try to carry you through the second round. You got to be able to have good runs. And we go to Dover, which is kind of a wild card. Darlington's definitely a skill track. A lot of guys want to show up there. Same with Charlotte. So you got a good balance of drafting tracks where anyone can have a good run, but.
Oh my goodness, it's 4 wide into turn 1. It was to the point where Sander Nyhoff had to tell his competitors, we're 4. McCandless, he's not even backing down. Contact to the inside. A dooring off the door of that Nexus Esports machine. That 99, Nathan Nicholson, not wanting to back up as they go back to 3.
The mechanics have been fading faster after losing the inside, kind of with a battle for the lead. They're still 3 wide, though, through travel. Nicholson on the bottom. He's got Sandro Nyhoff to the middle, and that's Joseph up by the wall. Really trying to make that high side work, get some runs, and make some magic happen going around Brad Mahar now. Going kind of work it out, but here comes Eugene Maganov. That's the Russian rocket, is that?
Yes,
correct?
indeed. He is the top racer on the oval side from Russia on the platform. And right now is trying to play the patience game. Nearly cutoffs in the pack. It's one of the Ryko trucks that nearly got turned around. Navarro nearly making contact to the back end of Quinton Warman. Now some more squeezes. You see Nicholson not giving a lot of space to that outer line. As there's the door slam to try and get to the inside. Some help with the teammates for the front row partnership.
Now, a lot of guys making their way up through the field now. Kenny Brady up about 15, 16 spots. Eugene Moscanoff, we were just talking about there, up almost 10. A lot of guys are already making their way to that top 10. Kevin King up 6, started 12th. Logan Tampa up 7 inside the top 10 now. A lot of guys are really starting to make their way to the lead. I think it's just being on the outside line. We talk about being able to pick and choose the right lane. McCandless was going for the lead, and that inside just fell apart. And now he's on the outside of the top 10, barely in the top 10, but it was mid 15s there for a while. So it's kind of pick and choose the wrong lane, and now the outside was able to form together. Now we're single lane racing up towards about the top 7.
Now this is about the time where drivers expect, usually in open competition, to be where if you got a great setup, this is where it shows. Tire wear around lap 20 to 25, starts single file it out, goes back to the line-to-line preference talk, but also if your truck is not able to limit fall off, this is where you fall off. After all, 1 second of fall off for the field in the first 28 laps. If you're 1.2, 1.3 on the fall off, you are in trouble.
Yeah, especially if this thing goes green all the way through. So far, 29 uninterrupted laps. Knocking on wood, no broadcaster's curse here. Daniel Botafogo seems to be leading the way. He's got Blaze Crawford, though, trying to kind of, suck up, get some magic going. Maybe form a second line, but I think these guys are kind of content with being single file. I mean, they're single file all the way to the top, through the top 10. You got to go back to Blake McCann and Joseph battling for 10th right now. On the first 2 wide action. Joseph getting tight off the corner there, almost washed up.
That got a little bit too dicey for a moment. As he just told his driver on the attempt to make the pass to the outside, it was worth the try to make the pass on Pfeffer. Guess what? He did not make the pass work, and Kenny Brady is saying, I'm going to go side by side instead with you.
That Kenny Brady saw that move that Joseph tried to make, saw it didn't work for him, so Kenny Brady going to try the same move. Joseph actually kind of lifting, though, letting him make it stick. Brady, though, saw the same thing, got tight coming off the corner, almost got into the left rear quarter panel McCandless, and I think we kind of rolled out of it with Joseph playing a little bit nicer than his competitors.
Now, keep in mind, pit stops expected to start pretty soon here. We are at around 30 to 35. Now, if anybody's playing the I think I'm better on fresher tires strat, this could be the window. If you are, like most, expecting the one stop, expect that here, and there's contact. It's McCandless to the back bumper. Caution flag is out. McCandless to the grass.
When you're talking about caution and pit stops coming soon, we've got them. That's Joseph, the other driver, also involved going through the grass and down the pit road for him. So he does get a black flag for that as well.
And since it's official, that won't get cleared off. Contact for Kenny Brady. Brady tried to clear in front. And just the touch bit of contact on McCandless puts us under yellow.
Now, Brady used that exact same move on Joseph a previous lap or two before, and Joseph was kind enough to kind of let him go. Joseph lifted, and McCandless, though, not having that same courtesy. I mean, they're not going to. They're racing for a top 10 spot in the top split, road to pro. Some guys playing nicer than others.
So just like that, 3 drivers with issues. This is where the black flag comes in for Joseph. Joseph's right. You've seen him to the edge of the curbing. He's also got right front damage from the contact. He's going to be in big trouble the rest of the way. Pit stops for the first time, and now it gets really intriguing from here. Botafogo leads them in.
Daniel did a real good job getting nice in the stall. Easy peasy. So don't have any problems here. I don't expect anyone to do any crazy strategies. Just 4 tires and fuel for the most part. We're still going to have one more stop after this, I believe, by my math. There's no way any of these guys can make it. About 70 laps or so of green flag racing. Hopefully green flag racing will get back going. But Daniel only going to lead the field off pit road. Blaze Crawford second, Max Brady third, Frisch side by side with Kevin King coming out of the pit. They were 3 wide exiting pit road for fifth. Logan Clampett gets sixth in that 3 wide battle.
Series list of drivers involved: McCandless, Joseph, Kenny Brady. So we're under caution. And here's a look at what you were talking about, the race out pit road. You have to get spots where you can get them. Why not get them as fast as you can here?
Actually, Frisch didn't win that battle. I think it's going to go to Brady, or I'm not sure what iRacing's doing there, but they would let that one slide. But I mean, might as well, if you can pass them on pit road, pass them while you can. My dad always told me growing up racing, the easiest cars to pass are the ones not on the track. I don't think that's exactly what he meant, considering I come from short track racing and cars wrecked a lot. We didn't really have pit stops, but if you can pass them while they're not racing, might as well.
So that being said, the field already coming to the 1-to-go signal. No one lost a lap. This does help a few drivers, though, down at the caution flag, including, well, especially Matheson. He's now in the pack. A reminder as we get set for the restart. Tonight's action brought to you in part by iRacing. The light on its training tool for countless professional drivers. iRacing is unrivaled as a racing simulator because of its creators managing to capture every last car and track detail and recreating said details in a package that perfectly encapsulates the feeling of being behind the wheel of a race car, pushing its mechanical limits on courses designed to test the driver's mental skills, physical skills, and racing skills. And the industry agrees. Visit iRacing.com to sign up and become a member today. Just about getting all set for the restart. It's Daniel Buttafuoco in front, Blaze Crawford alongside, Max Brady, Michael Frisch, Kevin King from 12th to 5th, Logan Clampett. He's been in the top 6 for the past while. He's in the 6th position. Mercurio, McCollum, Pfeffer, and Navarro. Your top 10, Andrew Navarro quietly gained about 15-ish spots in the span of 15 laps before the caution. He's in 10th. Pushy, 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 and this could get borderline. Blaze Crawford got the edge for the start and finish line. No black flag in sim, but he gets the better launch as a result of the stack up inside.
Yeah, that inside line, you talked about Daniel leading the inside line. Max Brady behind him decided it was go time before Daniel or Blaze on the front row decided to launch. So I kind of checked everything up, started everyone, and Blaze Crawford took advantage of it, tried to get the lead while I can. Stuck on the outside, though, Daniel Buttafuoco trying to make the bottom work with help from Brady. And should be able to regain the lead, though. Still going to have to play the lines. We've seen Daniel be perfect all night when it comes to controlling the race, setting the pace, and not really letting anyone get a big run around him. But everyone's got fresh tires, and this is a whole different ball game.
Enter Buttafuoco, one of the top drivers for eNASCAR College Series competition over the years. Trying to play the defense to the inside. Blaze Crawford, one of the top setup builders in all of iRacing, you could argue. 4 trucks, trying to work the high groove. And he has several friends behind him. Frisch trying to help him on momentum. Right now, just not able to get that line going. The short line is the faster line in terms of the bottom of the racetrack being the grippier to start.
Then having friends, we talked about Frisch there, kind of working with some select drivers. Having friends, people you can trust and really work with together, at a track like this and track like Daytona, anytime you're at a drafting track, that's one of the huge success. You come out here, you have no friends, I'm sorry, then you're not really going to do well. I mean,
hold on. Brad Mahar having some problems back there. It's 2 and 3 wide for the race lead, but Mahar is having a technical issue in the heart of the field, and now he's nearly stacking the field. There's someone nearly wrecking him inside of him, and this could be a panic. That's Blake Reynolds, not sure what to do. Finally clearing. That's terrifying.
4 wide though, with the 3 Mahar stuck in the middle. Blake Reynolds talking. Side Mahar on the bottom. Quentin Warman now on the outside. Going to be stuck though. 3 wide top. This might not work out great. Brad Mahar still in the middle lane. I think he's got everything figured out, but hope so. He's got Sandro Nyhoff right behind him.
That was absolutely terrifying, to say the very least, if you're in the cockpit. That could have been massive. They nearly wrecked it twice. Up front, though. Now there's a change in lane lines because now it's Brady looking for a run high side. And That is a teammate to Blaze Crawford for this series, already coming to lap 40, trying to get the edge. He gets the edge for the lead lap for the first time today.
I've heard of driving through somebody to make the pass, but Blake Reynolds literally drove through Brad Mahar to make that pass and made it stick. And now he's really working the bottom, though, of quite a few spots to kind of try and catch, the inside lines are kind of not really shuffled together. The outside goes through the whole field, and you got about 7-8 trucks on the bottom. I mean, that's the same thing we saw the last stint we had. The bottom was able to kind of not really get formed up, not as deep, not as collected as the outside, and that's what allowed the outside to go about 20 laps in the run. We're still nowhere near that part, but kind of points to remember everything goes green.
For the first time this season, Phil Croner Munstall's in top split. He just made top split, mind you. The cutoff for getting the top split this race, 7,024. It went down by about 50 iRating points. So far, he's holding his own in the mid-pack. He was someone who did very solid in second split last time out at Daytona, though.
That being able to go out here, have some good runs, and that's the one thing that is so unique about the SOF rate or the rating system in iRacing. You're partnered with people in your same skill group, and so that we talked about here. These are 35 of the best oval iRating drivers in the iRacing platform. So these guys definitely know what they're doing. You don't have any random Joe Blows out here that don't deserve to be out here. All these guys have worked, they've sweat. The tiers, the engineers that have gone into making this happen. These guys are going for it all right here.
Now, one of the drivers looking to go for it all, Kevin King, who was a part of co-competition very recently. Once again, back in the team colors. He's in the top 8. Now, interesting enough, there was a small rumor that was floating through the projection of charts on who's running RTP of Kenny Humphrey maybe doing the run. He didn't make the run, Humpy did. You know what Humpy did do? Become the crew chief for his longtime friend, Kevin King.
It's a pretty cool story there, having to be able to have a roll-off crew chief.
But even more so, Humpy is a former Coke champion. Oh, in trouble. Back of the field. One driver with a massive slide. Elski having a big save. That was the 33 truck getting sent on a slide. No caution. We stay green for the contact from Corey Hines out of 2.
It's Dominic Lukamotsky, the 33. See the orange truck on the high side. Going through the corner, kind of minding his own business, and little help, gets turned around. Able to recover. There wasn't really anyone behind him to slide into the wreck necessarily. Everyone does, though, a fantastic job. Talk about the wreck we had back on lap 31. Blake McCandless and Kenny Brady are 2 drivers that have struggled to keep up with the main pack, and they have actually lost the main pack. They're about 9 seconds behind, running 33rd and 34th, and then Joseph also in that pack, but 2 laps down. So these 3 friends that just so happen to all be in a wreck together, they're now friends for life.
It's funny how many drivers end up becoming teammates or working with fellow drivers who just so happen to wreck them in such a way where it ends up happening, but then it's like they laugh it off and talk it out, and then they become best friends. It's literally happened so many times. Heck, when I was in that racing realm, it actually did happen at least once.
My now best friend and full-time graphic designer, Gavin Newton, I met him because he designed a car that flew over me 170 miles an hour at Talladega in the Real Life Arkham Menard series.
Well, I mean, you got a perfect look at the scheme at high speed and could tell it was good.
Exactly. Yes, it was actually his first ever on-track scheme. So it was a real cool for him. He designed my car at Daytona a couple weeks ago and last year. So pretty neat little story there. We're side by side though for the lead. Max Brady trying to make some magic happen, not go airborne 170 miles an hour if he can help it, but at Vegas, anything can happen.
Side by side up at the front still. And eventually, obviously expect things to get pretty wild here. But for drivers like Curio, who has experience in the Coke Series, right now remaining patient. Nobody's saying, let's go 3 wide for the race lead. It's way early for that. We're not even at halfway.
That we still should have another shuffle of pit stops. Some guys, though, in the back of the pack, they're going 3 wide. That's Andrew Navarro in the middle. Logan Clampett, though, was the one running that high side up by the wall. Justin Smith, the driver we talked about early on, He's up inside the top 10 almost, up about 15, 16 spots. Here comes Nathan Nicholson, though, going 3 wide once again. Not the first time tonight. Clamper, though, stuck on the outside. He's also got Andrew Navarro squeezing him up in the wall. They're going to shuffle things out, sort out, and get back 2 wide racing through the trial.
They get themselves sorted out quickly. This has been a bit chippy in the mid-pack, around 10th or so now. Daniel Smallwood has gone for 22nd and 9th. He's there. Now it's 3 wide in that grouping yet again. And as this all situates, it kind of almost shows the urgency. We're at halfway, this time by the stripe. If you're taking it 3 wide for 25th, that kind of says panic time. Speaking of panic time, it's nearly crash time. Contact, that's Joel Blewett again. He has been struggling long run.
Let's talk about panic time too. Andrew Freenos, driver's been kind of blanking in and out the last couple laps. He's worked his way towards the back of the pack, kind of put himself in a safe place, but not something you want to have happen. We saw the deal with Reynolds driving through another competitor earlier. So far, that whole deal seemed to work itself out, but blanking on the issues is not what we want to be having right now.
So it looks like they settle themselves in. As they settle themselves in here, we mentioned how there was minimum movement in the first place. Now, Justin R. Smith, he was the last driver in. It's worth noting if he can go towards the front. He's right now in the battle going on in the heart of the top 10. He started 27th tonight. That Toyota TRD Pro Truck already finding the long run speed. He's been capitalizing once we get about 20 laps on the tires. We're about 20 laps in now.
That he was really making some good moves last run, and now leading the inside line of that Team Conti machine. Really kind of, using different lines. We see him up by the wall, get momentum down the straightaway, and kind of make passes that way. We see him go 3 wide down the middle. No issues there. Now I see him running the bottom, though. 3, almost staggered 3 wide. That's Christopher Pfeffer on his outside. And making quite a lot of good moves. Speaking of not having good moves, though, Daniel Budafuco, your leader, now down to 6 is Max Brady, Blaze Crawford, and Frisch kind of powered around him. And now they're leading this single file train.
And already the pushing coming to shove, so to speak. Brady, Crawford, Frisch, all in the same camp, all in the same ballpark on pace. And Mercurio you can throw in the mix as well as Budafuco. You're talking about 4 or 5 of the top 6, a part of the same team up here. What does that say to the rest of the field when you have one contingent of trucks stating their dominance while every other grouping is still trying to battle the Russian rocket?
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys kind of got together and talked about having friends on the track. If you can get together with that group of guys, you can pull away. And when we talk about battling the Russian rocket, I mean, these guys are pulling away from the top 6 guys are pulling away from Eugene and everyone else behind for a second there and going to use the draft to catch back up, but be able to have a decent amount of trucks, 6 trucks is definitely a good handful to have to work with here at Draft and Track. So these guys able to control both lanes, not just from the first 2 spots, but the first 6 being able to control the lanes.
That being said, we're in the fuel window the rest of the way here. We had the caution around 35 laps in, just about. When do you pit, though? Knowing you do it late, that could cost you the draft. You do it too early, that can cost you the win.
Yeah, it's all about having having good, I guess, analysis skills, being able to try and pick and choose who you go with the undercut, having friends to go with. I think having friends is a key part. That's a huge aspect of iRacing, Super Speedway racing. We're not at Super Speedway tonight, but definitely at Draft and Track. If you can pit with 5 or 6 of your closest friends, all go push the crap out of each other, you can make up a ton of time compared to a guy in a pack of 20 trucks that's having to lift and kind of short his way through the pack. So I think having some friends here definitely going to play in a factor when you all want to pit. But being able to pit later, kind of have more grit, better tires on that late run, that might be. We got a wreck in the back.
Trouble back straight away. What happened there? That was not a pretty sequence. Blake Reynolds not happy on the radio, to say the very least, and this will be his drop, very likely. As Blake Reynolds is saying, it looks like I'm not going to be the points leader anymore. It was with Andrew Navarro.
Checkers to records last week at Daytona. Going to be towing and out of this one early on. Hard hit the inside the wall.
So the Nitro Circus truck, massive damage. And remember, he talked about as long as he's doing well in the points, in terms of the points list, trouble live action as well. Get to that in a moment as they have crashed out of turn 4. Groner English and Moore stack up. Hard contact Larry Pace. And about a quarter of the field wrecks on the front stretch.
This started way up inside the top 10. Start top 5 even.
Yeah, Kevin King was in the top 5. I have a feeling somebody did something with the lanes. Michael Frisch in it. This had to have been in the top 5 during the replay.
It was, yes. Started with Kevin King. Kevin King kind of moved up. We'll get a replay here. In their single file for the most part, Kevin King gets a good run. He's a red truck on the bottom. That's help from Brian Curio. Then up into Michael Frisch, and the whole field kind of stacks up there. I mean, he was inches from, was clearing himself behind and making it work and get a good run down the straightaway, but misjudged it, and around goes the whole field. And a lot of heavy hitters taking on that one.
And that might be a championship demolisher for a couple drivers. Michael Frisch did survive the big one for a top 10 points run entering the night. Not going to be that way now. Here's on board in the heart of the pack.
You're talking 10, 11, 12 trucks are damaged, at least of some kind there. I mean, even going back to 20th. Philip Groner, who's in 19th, kind of got hit from behind, got spun and all that. So his spoiler is beyond repair. Like, you got a ton of guys with hard hit after effect up by the wall. I'm not sure who that was. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Someone arc a break to that one pretty bad.
Let's take another look. I'm curious on this. Here's Pfeffer, or back towards the front. Max Brady, remember, was leading at the time of the situation. And the whole lead packs kerfluffles. There's contact, and
Corey Hines saw a ghost.
That's called hoping your technical connection saves you from damage again.
I'm sure Frisch probably a little too close for comfort there. Saw Corey Hines literally drive through him. It's going to be an awesome advance here. See the initial spin there. That's with King. Frisch goes around, gets up by the wall, and right on the board. Here comes Hines. So that's a second hit, and then Hines just right through him like a ghost. I was kind of scared. I'm not going to lie to all.
All I'll say is he is not one of the drivers on the got damage list. That being said, Max Brady is now your leader over Crawford. Jenny Mozganov, along with Pfeffer, clamp at the top 5. We're under caution. A good portion of the field involved in the big one at Vegas. You're watching iRacing Makoni Entertainment coverage of eNASCAR qualifying coverage. RTP continues after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to coverage of Road to Pro here on iRacing social media platforms as well as on Makoni Entertainment. Justin Prince, Braden Laster with you, Bradley Cooper producing as we get set to get back racing. Tonight's coverage brought to you in part by Makoni Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR, as we get set to go back racing after several trucks got a lot of damage and in turn had to get some of their trucks and their drivers and crews to run to the body shop. Max Brady with the green, we're backing away.
We're definitely inside the field window now, less than 40 laps to go. At this point, it's go all out. If you get a caution, cool to get a chance to reset. From this point, don't expect one.
And already the pushing is on. This time, it's Eugene Moskanov, should say, trying to make a push. Brady with a hard bump, and here comes Logan Clampett for the middle. Nearly had some contact.
That Clampett, I think, has been one of the drivers that's not scared to take it 3 wide and definitely thought of it. Putting Blaze Crawford to the outside. Now they're looking on the outside of the Russian Rocket, trying to make some magic happen. Can't quite get there. No side action for him. Still going to be Eugene Moskanov and Max Brady in their front two.
And the Ryko truck looking for any place to poke, but here comes Clampett. Logan Clampett coming off a dominant, and I mean dominant stretch in the eNASCAR College Series, and is still in the midst of it, mind you, as one of its top drivers for a championship this year. He said earlier, remember at Daytona, now that he's got the time, he looks to return to the Coke Series potentially. He laid out the groundwork 2 years ago. Now he's in the shuffle again for the lead. All while the Russian rockets his way to the point.
And Moskanov using help from talk about this. Justin Smith, we've talked about him all night, making his way up to the field, up 23 spots. Going now for the lead, helping out Eugene Moskanov, though. I think on lap traffic, that's Michael Frisch up by the wall. Heavy damage for him in that earlier wreck. So I don't know if he was just coming out of the pits when they caught him. I believe that was the case. Can't really get above, though, 150 miles an hour.
Still keeping an eye on how things are shuffling in the heart of the pack right now. This look again from Crawford. He's built up a lot of rapport we touched upon already here. And when it comes to the speed in these trucks, it takes a lot of dedication. He's amongst those who really honed in his craft around 2021 especially, and has since become a very reliable product in terms of building trucks, but also in terms of driving them now too.
Being able to have that skills and be able to do what you need to do to compete in such a tight field like this. 7,600 strength field, one of the highest I'm sure we see. We got 3 wide though. That's Eugene Moskanov on the bottom. Justin Smith, no hesitation at all. Sees a hole and goes for it. He's 3 wide middle. Then they got Blaze Crawford on the outside though. It's going to be Logan Clampett and Max Brady single file for the lead, and they're 3 wide trying to sort it out behind them.
Look who's in the conversation though. Here comes the run. This time it's Daniel Smallwood. And Smallwood has quietly gone up nearly 20 spots. He was as far back as 30th in the early going. And now one of the legacy trucks getting its best run yet as Clampett takes the point. Smallwood looks to take a chance to be able to get to the point.
Smallwood going to hop right in line with Max Brady. Give him a push. Give him a shove down straight. Look at the momentum they're able to build. Now the block. A little too late, but almost put himself in the wall. Clampett now going to be left out the drive. 3 wide middle. That's Justin Smith to the bottom. Clampett was real late on that block, and they're going to be staggered 3, almost 4 wide for lead coming off of 2.
Have to take the smart play. It stays 3 wide now for second. Near contact for Clampett as he slams the door right at the nose of Smallwood. And now, 2 technical alliance mates working together up front. Smith able to clear by the pack. That at least settles that down, but it's not settled out for drivers like Brady. This is not good if you're Brady and Crawford on the top.
Now Moskanov still trying to make the bottom line work, but he's losing a lot of time in the lost spots. Just now getting help. That's Brad Mahar behind him. But they were still staggered 2-3 wide here, though, for about 8th or 9th. Corey Hines, we saw him kind of be part of that wreck. Drive that's going to be absolutely destroyed, though, going for a top 10. Nice little rebound and some luck on his side, but he's 3 wide bottom, so might not quite work out for them. But Justin Smith, we've talked about him all night to the point.
Now, keep in mind, we're about 10 laps away from that single file and out point on the tire wear. lot of these drivers already showing that urgency we were expecting once the drivers got within the fuel window. Look who's up front all of a sudden. It's some drivers' favorite, Corey Hines, one of the legacy competitors, also joining the fray late.
That just brought it up. Hines drove through Michael Frisch at last wreck, which brings me up to a good point. If I had a nickel for every time I saw a truck literally drive through another truck that could ghost, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice this race.
I mean, he is making lots of frenemies on the way to the field. He is a driver with World Championship experience, actually. Back in 2018-ish, he was a part of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Championship on the iRacing platform, so he has had a black stripe, at least on the dirt side. Now looking for the oval one.
I remember when I first joined iRacing, I saw the WC licenses. I had no idea what they meant. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. Definitely probably not going to get one anytime soon. I still think they're pretty cool, though.
2x2 up front, but we're touching upon how drivers in turn have to come in and going in terms of the setup, in terms of speed. The legacy trucks that had somewhere around 20 drivers entered by them this season now have seen about 3 or 4 of them enter the top 10 all of a sudden. Brad Mahar now the highest running, and contact back straight away. Trouble from McCollum. Nicholson slides into the pack. No caution yet. And somehow we stay green as a good portion of the field is demolished in turn 3.
Matthew Martin missing hood. Oh, there's about to wreck again, coming off of 4. Dominic Lukomsky got pinched into the wall. Boyd Hogan was 3 wide with Matthew Martin, and Martin, missing front bumper, back bumper, hood, and everything else in between. We'll get a replay here, see how it started.
So there's stack up that brings down McCollum, and then Nicholson straight up the track.
A lot of hard hits, those guys. Martin talked about Nicholson. A couple others. Daniel actually is not having a good night to begin with. He got some late damage team, and he had to lift and lost the lead draft. So now it's really spread out the pack, though. Only about 13 drivers left in that lead pack.
So that's really thinned down the herd, so to speak. That's a good way to get towards the tire wear portion to be shredded down. And several are already a good 10 seconds back because of that. In turn, the lead group has been shuffled down to about 13, as you said. Smith, Clampett, Smallwood, Mozgatov, Navarro, Matheson, Mahar, Hines, Max Brady, Crawford, Pfeffer, Warman, and Snyder. You know the wild thing about part of that statement just mentioned, though? You're talking about not just drivers like Jacob Snyder charged to the field and finding a groove in the later stages of this race. But we're also talking about Matheson, who started from pit lane, got the caution he needed to get in the pack, now showing the speed after having him start dead last, essentially, in that heart of the pack. He's in the 71, part of that partnership Nexus Esports has with Front Row Motorsports this year.
That he was one of the drivers that got real lucky. Joe Logano was kind of in the railroad in Atlanta, had to do a drive through and missed a big wreck. Same thing happened there from Mason. So they're gonna be 2 wide. It's Mahara though up in the wall almost. I think he missed Ganoff trying to recover. Those two were practically in the same line, going for the same spot. I don't know how they didn't wreck there. And we've got about a 4-car breakaway for the lead. About half a second though between Matheson and that's going to be Navarro. They should be able to catch him, but though interesting to see how we talked about after about 15, 20, 25 laps. You see the setups where it's got to come into play. And having only 13 trucks in that lead pack to begin with, that's not going to help anybody out.
A lot of drivers getting loose. The drivers looking stable or the ones breaking away from this pack. It's worth noting about those who you can throw in the loose group. Mahal getting loose. Here comes the dive inside Max Brady. 3 wide. This could get a little bit tight off corner exit with the bobbles. Looks like they settle it out quickly, though. 3 wide, a couple rows deep as Pepper wants to go with the Altus truck.
Try and make some magic happen, though. 3 wide's definitely a way to get it done. That's Corey Hines up by the wall, into the wall now, come down across the nose almost to Pfeffer. Still 3 wide through the tri-oval. That's Blaze Crawford on the bottom. He's been 3 wide most of this night. You're a pole sitter. Contact!
Nearly spins it around in a big save. for Christopher Pfeffer. Max Brady slams the door as part of the recovery, but that was extremely tight.
That wasn't 3 wide across the track. That was about 3 wide across the lane and a half, and they somehow made it work, able to keep it going.
A lot of deep breath moments here with how it's shaking up. Under 20 to go now in this one. Gone to the race pretty quickly. 19 on the board. Up front, Justin R. Smith continues to work with Clampett. They're starting to slowly break away. Another tandem, a Smallwood and Navarro, is also formed up with this.
Not only that, but they're going to be catching some lap traffic soon. Not a whole lot. Just Kevin King out here kind of running underpowered. Only about 165, 170 miles an hour. So he's about 10 miles an hour, though, slower than their leader. He should be catching them here in the next couple laps. That might come into play here. But everyone trying to get together, trying to kind of, form up, line up, and get going. We talked about, the top 10 hadn't really shuffled a lot. As far as when we first started, top 9 starters were still top 9 for the most part. Your top 5, they started 27th, 14th, 22nd, 30th, and 19th. So Logan Clampett, your highest starter, and 14th, currently running second. And as far as the top 5 goes.
Now, as this settles through, lap traffic could play a factor. We've already seen at least one driver in that circumstance. Expecting a lot more. And that's Kevin Kane up front, 28th spot for reference. That could be critical depending on how things play out here, because the speed differential is at least 5-10 miles an hour for some of these drivers, laps down or with damage compared to those up at the front.
And not just a speed difference, but a handling difference. Kevin King, though, going to go high and let everyone on by, wave as they're passing. But being able to run the higher line, you can do it. And you have a normal truck, or at least a not damaged truck, but you might go in there at speed, not expect and kind of lose control and cause a wreck. We've seen it happen before. Everyone, though, is still trying to navigate around Kevin King. So far, so good. Brad Mahar to the bottom. King still running up by top.
The Russian Rocket you can throw into the mix of looking for the strong points run. Things are starting to fade a little bit. Of course, there's still a lot of racing to go. And obviously, Daytona being the craziness of most of the field crashing really shook a lot of drivers up and possibly put them in the drop situation. That being said here, for those reference, there is a drop route for the full standings at the end of the season calculated. That being said, Brayton, for a lot of the drivers who did not survive a lot of that, like Clampett, like Justin R. Smith, like you throw Smallwood into the mix, you throw drivers like Max Brady, you throw a couple of the others in, it's been a good recovery from a bad start to the year.
Matt Smith, talking about your leader, he finished 30th. I'm not 30th. He finished 23rd at Daytona, and then that was Sam that finished 23rd, and then Justin Smith finished 29th. So these guys finished outside the top 20 at Daytona, currently 1-2 here, looking for a good, nice little rebound. And that's kind of what we got need to have one bad week, kind of shrug it off, put it past you, and then go and do 7 really, really good races. And you have some wiggle room with that drop week, but you don't want that 23rd, 27th place finish to be your drop week. You can, if you have to, but just be able to kind of put together some really good, solid results here for these guys.
Third on back starting to get a little bit impatient. The chatter on the radio was simple. Some drivers getting tight, some are loose. Are you loose? Are you tight? I can't figure it out if you're loose or tight. Navarro's loose. Smallwood is inconclusive. There's the side draft. He wants to go.
Talk about being loose and tight for a battle for 10th. Not Corey Hines. Blaze Crawford going through the trial. Not Blaze Crawford. Quentin Warman, I apologize there. Got real loose coming off of 4 and about came up, it looked like, into Max Brady. This went down 2-3 lanes. They kind of get it recovered, but that's a driver that's really struggling there. You're inside, that 10-ish lap to go, almost window coming, next time by. It's go time. You've been saving anything to take it. You've been, tire saving at all. Now's the time to start to go 110%. You have that little edge, that little bit of advantage you have. Now's the time to exhaust that.
Green light is go, as some may say, coming to 10 laps to go. About 15 miles to decide it when we get to the flag stand. Justin R. Smith and Logan Clampett stay 1-2. Andrew Navarro, one of the rising stars When it comes to setup building and when it comes to racing, he is looking to try and break up the party of the Conti trucks 1 and 2. Navarro getting a little bit pushy, trying to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, these three really going at it, going to allow him to pull away a little bit from Matheson. Then you got Brad Mahar kind of running behind him as well. And then you got Daniel Smallwood, Eugene Moscanoff, the Russian Rocket, Blaze Crawford. And that's about it as far as the lead pack goes. 8 drivers all within a second. They're going to have to go about over half a second back to find Max, Brady, and Warman. You got about 8 truck break where you see it there on their screen, 5, 6 in that second pack. And after that, everyone's a lost cause unless we get a caution.
Next lap truck is Nicholson, by the way, in terms of the queue. All of that's well. Different lanes are coming in. The top line being utilized by some, about 5th on back. Most staying stagnant towards that middle to bottom line. Mahar's the one trying something different, a part of the defense. Not going to be able to run that line this time because there's the lap truck of Nicholson taking the top away.
And going in the entry there, we talked about having damaged truck, not being able to really hold the same line you'd expect to with, a well-handling truck, or at least a non-damaged truck. Nicholson bobbled it big time going in the 3. I don't think he really expected that to rip. Now into the wall, almost getting a darn stripe. Guys going 3 wide to pass him, definitely coming into a factor there. It's gone off a little bit of contact almost in the back with Blaze Crawford. These two going at it now.
Yeah, communication, giving key. Nicholson up in that wall you see in the backdrop, but up front, still no change up at the point yet. Justin R. Smith trying to play a bit of the lanes. Navarro looking to set things up. And this gets to the viewpoint. Same for Matheson. If you go too early, you show your hand, as they say here in Vegas, you need to know when to hold them or fold them. You better know the timing of that. If you end up holding too long, that's bad. If you fold too early, that's bad. If you play all in too early, that's very bad.
Now they don't want to have a dead man's hand here. Navarro, though, trying to do the opposite, running the high line in the corners. Zach, we talked about Matheson running kind of a different line. Or not Matheson, Crawford trying to do something different and get up there. Do some momentum to come down the front straightaway. He wasn't quite able to make it work, but was looking almost going 2 or 3 wide. Was Clampett trying to make some magic happen and go and get the back bumper. Clampett push him up to Justin Smith's back bumper. So far, no one really forming anything. Navarro does try and get that high line, rolling up on the wall. He's got some help coming, though.
5 laps to go, this time by the stripe. Justin R. Smith still up at the front. Clampett has been pushing him for about the past 15 laps. He looks content for now. Navarro getting checked up to the point, though, because of all those bump drops to the back of Clampett. Well, Clampett has been riding behind Smith.
Look at the momentum when Navarro was able to carry it through the corner. He's got some high side heroes with him. He's got Jake Matheson and Brad Mahar kind of peeking out with him. Same with Daniel Smallwood. These guys have all been running the high line, coming through the corner, trying to get momentum, trying to put something together, trying to put a challenge to Clampett and Smith. But these two have been absolutely perfect when it comes to playing the draft. But Navarro trying to be spoiler here.
Navarro got a good run for 1 and 2, though. Just can't get to the outside of Clampett yet. Now, it's the matter, do you try the inside? We've seen that not work at this point of the tire run earlier. Do you risk the top? Or better yet, if you can get the run?
I think definitely be able to get the run back up, get some help. Hide your pocket ace, as we talked about, fold them or show them. Show them, fold them, something like that. I don't gamble. But Navarro, though, try and make some magic happen. He's got Jake Matheson, though, to his back bumper, try and help him. We got less than 3 laps to go.
Down the Noah straightaway once again, past the Air Force Base. Navarro does not want to go to the inside. It's been made clear. And you can almost feel that tension of, do I make the pass and risk it for the win, or do I keep the points? With the way some of this is playing with 2 to go, let's find out which drivers are putting the chips on the table. Navarro waiting for the moment. He peeks outside yet again.
Matheson not lucky to go with him that time. Navarro going to be left kind of stranded. Brad Mahar and Smallwood have both faded back, not really able to get to the back bumper. Now to the back bumper, Clampett, Navarro goes. And now they're going to have one last chance. Going to come to the white flag here. If they're going to do something, you got to do it now.
Somebody is doing something here right now. That to the inside of Matheson's Mahar. White flag coming up. White flag in the air. Final time around now from Vegas. Brought to you by McConey Entertainment. Here comes Navarro. He looks to the inside. Looks for the side draft. Smith tries to keep it topside. Clampett tries to work with Smith. Navarro needs one more dive to have a chance. Smith slams the door. He blocks the inside. Clampett pinches from the outside for second. Checker flags in the air. Welcome to Top Split Victory Lane. Justin R. Smith is a winner in Top Split Road to Pro action.
Talked about him all night, using the high line, using the bottom lane, going 3-4 wide middle. Didn't matter. Justin Smith knew how to find grip and make passes, especially early on in the run when nobody else was doing it. And he finds victory lane tonight, up 27 spots. It's 26, I apologize. I can't do math.
He was as far back as around 30th, around the quarterway mark. Very quickly rose up to the occasion of getting to the front when it matters most. Justin R. Smith's first win in top split action, and with Clampett holding on to second, a 1-2. As some may say, Clampett the mentor, Justin R. Smith the student. The student learns for the master in Vegas. It's double burnout time.
Clampett, we were talking about, being able to use and control that line. Got a little side action going from Navarro, but was able to kind of defend Justin Smith's run. I think that's what allowed him to kind of seal the deal and let Smith go on to win this race. Clampett raced Navarro pretty strong for that second spot and really never allowed Navarro to make a run forward or form.
Celebration continuing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And as Justin R. Smith and Logan Clampett celebrate a 1-2 finish for their organization, take a very quick step aside when we come back. Post-race coverage. You're watching iRacing and Macconi Entertainment's coverage of Road to Pro and eNASCAR's qualifying iRacing ladder here on iRacing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Macconi.
With the launch of Macconi Entertainment and Macconi Competizone alongside Macconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MacconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Macconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of eNASCAR Road to Pro action. What a night for the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series from iRacing's virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway on iRacing and Macconi Entertainment. Let's take a look at your race results in the next moment or so as we get the chance to talk with your top runners, all of the top 3 competitors standing by. Speaking of that top 3, Justin R. Smith, for the first time, makes it the top split victory lane. He picks up the win by under a tenth over one of his team mentors, Logan Clampett. Andrew Navarro comes away inside the top 3. Then it's Jake Matheson, along with Brad Mahar in the top 5. Daniel Smallwood able to get to 6th spot at the checker flag. Russian Rocket finished 7th, right in front of a fellow teammate from Ryko and Quentin Warman. Blaze Crawford and his teammate Max Brady inside the top 10. Having teammates is fun. Just about everybody up front got at least one teammate, except for Navarro, inside the top 5 and 10.
They're running out the rest of the field. Corey Hines in 11th. We saw him there. He drive through Michael Friss early on this race. It's a pretty good rebound for him. What should have been disaster. Jacob Snyder 12th. Christopher Pfeffer in 13th. Brian Mercurio in 14th. Joel Blewett in 15th. Sandra Nyhoff in 16th. Jake Nichols about half his starting spot in 17th. Connor Song in 18th. Andrew Fresnos in 19th, and then Dominic Lukomsky in 20th, running out your top 20. And we saw Dominic in quite a bit of trouble, kind of a 3 wide up in the wall in that orange 23 truck.
Also of note towards the back of the field today, Casey Tucker, Boyd Hogan. Hogan not able to get to the front. Danny Buttafuoco, he ended up coming into pit lane and having an issue where he jumped out of the sim during pit stops, had to get back in the truck, got back on the racetrack, and then jumped back out of the truck for another 30-40 seconds. Something happened in Buttafuoco where he needed to get out of the truck in the sim and got back out on pit lane. He lost the spots from that. Larry Pace and Blake McCandless top 25. Philip Groner, Nathan Nicholson, Kevin Kane, along with Joseph and Matthew Morden in the top 30 of No, Morden was your first DNF. McCollum, English, Frisch, Reynolds, and Kenny Brady were also on the DNF list here tonight. Those drivers, in case of a couple, did not get to the final quarter of tonight's race. So once again, that's a look top to bottom at your race results. As per iRacing official races, those results are locked in. We'll see how the points in turn tally up by the end of the night. Of note, for those curious on how second split is going, one of our broadcast sister partners and FTN has coverage of that second split. Christopher Hill, for reference, is currently leading that. They still have 13 laps to go and just came up to pit stops. But you know who is making it to victory lane now? Justin R. Smith. He is a winner in eNASCAR competition at the top split level for Road to Pro. Justin, welcome to Top Split Victory Lane. How does it feel to get here?
Dude, it's awesome. Especially with the luck I've had in Road to Pro. I was telling Logan this is like only the second top split race I haven't been wrecked out of or involved in something. So, yeah, it feels incredible.
It seemed like a tough drive to get through in the first place. At one point, you're in 30th. At that point in the early going, what was going through your mind as you slowly started to pick up spots as the race progressed?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we had a good truck. I just kind of wanted to stay on the bottom early there and make up as much as I could and just slide in line when I could. Wrecks fell our way whenever we had, good track position. Caution would come out, come get new tires, and just do it all over again. And yeah, that last run, got a good run on the inside. Was able to take the lead, and luckily Logan was on my back bumper. I don't know if I could have got there without him. He was pushing me the whole way. So. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good comeback.
So just to clarify real quickly, Logan did tell you he was going to work with you the whole way, correct?
Yeah, he was in another call. I don't know how he did it. Literally in the middle of the call, he came in and started talking to me and was like, "Hey, let's work together." And I was like, "All right, cool." So he was a big help.
Well, congratulations, Justin. Your first top split win, and it comes in a 7,600. A big point haul, nearly 500 points for the win.
Yeah, that's gonna be massive.
Justin R. Smith gets the job done here tonight. He ends up holding off one of the more experienced drivers in all of the Road to Pro ladder this year, Logan Clampett. And he talked about Justin Smith working with Clampett to the very end. He's with Brayton.
Now, Logan, Justin credited a lot of his victory to you. Sid literally hopped in a Discord call or his voice chat in the middle of a green flag run. Said we were going to work with him, talk us through about that.
Yeah, those 4 screens really came in handy, didn't they? Yeah, I once we got out in front, I just tried to communicate with Justin the best I could to carry momentum so that these guys wouldn't get by us. And he did a really good job. He didn't mess up at all through the whole last run. So I'm really happy for the result. Team Conti 1-2. That's really excellent, especially on a track like this where it's just full throttle. So we're all really happy with the result, and it's pretty cool for both of us to kind of carry the Team Conti flag in top split.
to talk about having friends, having teammates. We go to Atlanta in a couple weeks where we have our third and final drafting track of the round 1 debacle. How do you feel about that and the importance of having teammates?
Yeah, it's gonna be important, man. It's definitely gonna be more intense than this race, so we'll see what happens. I'm not looking forward to it personally. I probably only have about 50 to 100 laps on that new Atlanta, so I'm sure I'll need a little bit of pack practice. But we'll see how it is, and hopefully, this result can kind of just carry me to the top 70.
Well, congratulations on your second place run in line. Logan Clampett leading on 1 lap and we're out to that second place finish.
Third spot tonight went to Andrew Navarro, and with Blake Reynolds having the issues he had here, and with Andrew Navarro being next in line in the point standings, very likely, Andrew Navarro, your points leader after tonight. Andrew, talk to us about that final 10, 15 laps where trying to figure out what can you do. What was going through your head as you try to figure out what to do to break up Smith and Clampett?
I mean, I thought about everything in the book, to be completely honest. I knew I wanted to do it clean, um, but I also didn't want to back up enough of a run that I would screw Jake out of a spot. I've been teammates, so I didn't want to screw him. I just knew I had to go down to the bottom and wanted second. Um, we almost had second, but overall, pretty good race. I was just trying to get on the outside of Clampett, but he was doing a great job defending, and really hard to do anything against two when you're by yourself, basically. Um, but overall, really good race, really fun race coming from the back. Really wish Kenny would have been able to finish up there. We were rolling. I think we were the biggest mover at the start of the race. That first green flag run, we had gotten up into like top 15 from all the way in the back. But yeah, good race pace. So good Q pace, but very happy to at least finish the race.
Yeah, you do finish as the official biggest mover, up 27, by the way. But that being said, as the opinion from Clampett on the next drafting track, he doesn't have as much experience at Atlanta. He put under 100 laps. What's your opinions on Atlanta coming up? The third straight and final straight draft track in a row in terms of super speedway style or pack style racing expected?
I really don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get anything with the oval refresh coming up in, I think, what is it, about a week. So that could change the way we race it, but I mean, if it stays the same, um, honestly, kind of expect something like tonight. But you just got to be very smart with your moves. At least there, I think the bottom will at least stay around for a while. But overall, not happy with the first 3 races. Um, I like plate racing, don't get me wrong, but something feels so wrong that we're full throttling behind somebody in the middle of the pack. But yeah, overall, pretty good race. Hoping to be 2 spots better at Atlanta. But well, thanks to everybody on my car, Premier Racing, Celebrity Cruises, Adrenaline Captures, Mart Sports, everybody that makes me go fast and keeps me calm. You guys for broadcasting, and iRacing for putting on the series.
Well, once again, Andrew, congrats on the top 3. And at least unofficially, it looks to be that you'll be the points leader entering Atlanta. Congrats.
Thank you.
Andrew Barr rounding out your top 3 discussions here tonight. I'd like to thank the top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage about iRacing and Maconie Entertainment. Brayton, I turn to you now. What are your thoughts on what we've seen here tonight at Vegas? A team 1-2, first-time top split winner, and now the table's set for Atlanta.
Yeah, we're going to our third drafting track in a row in just a couple weeks. I'm really looking forward to that. You thought the intensity was high tonight. We're going to turn it up to the max here in a couple weeks. So Atlanta is a whole different style of draft pack racing. And these guys, going 2 or 3 wide tonight, I think we're going to see a whole new recipe for disaster in a couple weeks.
Now, with that being said, as said, the next Road to Pro broadcast is at Atlanta. That'll be March 14th, 8 p.m. the start time once again. Be sure to tune in here on iRacing social media platforms and on Maconie Entertainment as we go super speedway racing on a 1.5 miles. This time with a lot of banking. With that being said, after a night of some of the most intense competition available you'll see on the oval side of the iRacing service. We wrap things up here. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brazen Laster, with Bradley Cooper producing. Thanks once more to all the viewers for watching tonight's racing action. We hope you stay tuned to all our social media pages for our next race, especially when it comes to the series known as C-Fix throughout the rest of 2024 as well on Wednesday nights. Thanks as well to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Marconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time from Atlanta.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Marconi.
With the launch of Marconi Entertainment and Marconi Competizone alongside Marconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MarconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Marconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.